Shalom Aleichem and good Shabbos. In this week's Parshat, Parshat Chayei, famously, a lot of time is spent not only on Eliezer's story, but on Eliezer's recounting of the story, particularly in contrast to how much time the Torah spends on Yitzchak Avinu's story. So Rav Acha in the Midrash famously relates to this contrast by stating, Yafeh sichasam shel avdei batei avos, mitarasan shel banim, seemingly comparing and contrasting the greatness, the importance of the sicha, of the mere language and speech of an eved in comparison to the Torah of a child, or to the Torah of one of the avos even. Okay? I'd like to point to the difference between the language which is used in comparison this week and that which we had last week. Last week we also compared, and we said last week, Gedola Achnasas Orchim Mikabalas Pnei Shechina, that Achnasas Orchim is even greater than Kabbalas Pnei Shechina. There's a difference between using the language of Gedola and using the language of Yafeh. Gedola says that one is greater than the other. Yafeh is something else. Yafeh is a statement of aesthetics. In Torah, we really have two different paths. We have two different paths of acquiring values, of how we relate to things, how we relate to the idea. There's one path which we relate to as Torah. Torah, the certain values, what comes before what. It is measurable. It is that which we are able to discern. And that is what we call Torasam Shel Banim. To a certain extent, in the phrase or in the function of V'yadata Hayom V'hashevota El Levavecha, there's a side of V'yadata Hayom. There are things which we gain through Yediyah. We learn to see what Torah wants, and we're able to encapsulate it. And we gain it through learning. And that is the way that we gain Torah. And that is passed on through teaching one person to another. Okay? That is the type of mode which when we talk about in Rav Wolbe's Chinuch, that's what we relate to as binyan. We build it piece by piece. We have a syllabus. There's another way that we gain and we grow. Okay? That which Rav Wolbe talks about as zriya, and something which is more akin to growing. We create an atmosphere. We give over in a different way through modeling, through mentoring. And that is what we call within that other formulation, V'hashevota El Levavecha. It is something which becomes internalized and to the point where it is intuitive. Those things we relate to differently. Those things we relate to in terms of Yafeh. V'noam, v'darchei adarchei noam. They resonate with us. Okay? That is noam. That is yafeh. Here we are not comparing and saying one is greater than the other, but we are relating to the fact that it is more yafeh. Okay? Sichasan, sicha is something when we say that someone is mesiach lefi tumo. There's a type of way that a person expresses that which is intuitively going on within him and where he's holding and what he relates to and what resonates with him and what makes him happy and what is important and chashuv to him. And that comes across in what he speaks about and what he says. And that then is received as something which is yafeh. There is something else which we talk about as Torah, that is something which is built, that is something which is taught, that is something measured, and that we talk about whether it is tov, whether it is good, or it is something which is bad. Here we are relating specifically to that area of yafeh sichasam. Sicha relates that which is aesthetic, that which is beautiful, that which is yafeh. That can only happen with a story. Torah can be related over in a sentence, in a mitzvah, in a tzivoy. Sicha and yafeh needs time, needs space, needs to be something which creates an atmosphere, and therefore it needs more space. It is not necessarily more important and more true than Torah, but it works in a different way. Bezrat Hashem, we should be zocheh that not only is our Torah correct and true and tov, but our sicha is yafeh v'noam, and the Torah is not only over here, but it also has become intuitive and is over here. Good Shabbos to everyone.
Good Shabbos, good Shabbos.